I want you to imagine something right now. Just walk through this with me for a moment. I want you to imagine you going to the bathroom or going out to go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden you're being chased by a group of angry men. And you start running, and they're running after you, and it's very scary. And why is it very scary? Well, here's why. Because you know for a fact if those men catch you when you are on your way to the bathroom, they're going to eat you while you're still alive. What I just described to you is not something out of some low-rent horror movie somewhere. What I just described to you is something that really happened in real life. This is the force of government, the most powerful force in our nation, sadly, the force of government, aligning itself firmly with the left and deciding on its own that you are a domestic terrorist. Once they get past that step, guess what step 2 is? You running from the men while you're trying to go to the bathroom. I can't make it any more serious for you than that. What's happened in this country with the FBI becoming a political enforcement arm of the Democratic Party and the CIA and NSA doing the same thing is without question the most dangerous thing happening in the United States of America today, because it ends with you in a political prison right next to your wife and your daughter and your son and your sister and your mother. That's how it ends. How do I know it ends that way? Because I read history books. I don't need to read lying modern day headlines. History books tell me that's how it ends. You do not want the enforcement arm of your government picking a side because it ends with death, widespread death and misery. What happened last night, what my friend Tucker Carlson admitted on his show last night about the NSA is not a story about Tucker Carlson. It's not a story about Fox News or cable news pundits. It's not a story about me. It is a story about all of us, and you had better pay very, very close attention when he explains what happened, because this is coming for you too.
We heard from a whistleblower within the U.S. government who reached out to warn us that the NSA, the National Security Agency, is monitoring our electronic communications and is planning to leak them in an attempt to take the show off the air. Now, that's a shocking claim, and ordinarily we'd be skeptical of it. It's illegal for the NSA to spy on American citizens. It's a crime. It's not a third world country. Things like that should not happen in America. But unfortunately, they do happen, and in this case, they did happen. The whistleblower, who is in a position to know, repeated back to us information about a story that we are working on that could have only come directly from my texts and emails. There's no other possible source for that information, period. The NSA captured that information without our knowledge and did it for political reasons. The Biden administration is spying on us. We have confirmed that.
How do you feel? Now, I want you to do something else for me right now. I want you to pause the show if you want. Maybe wait and do it after show. Maybe do it while you listen to my voice. I want you to go through the last 20 text messages you sent to a friend. How'd that look in the cover of the newspaper tomorrow? Last 20 emails you sent to a friend. How'd that look on the cover of the newspaper tomorrow? How's your job security when that comes out? You understand these people are preparing to make you the enemy of the state, right? All those crazy dystopian novels out there, it's happening. It's happening right now. It's happening because Democrats have filled the federal government with their allies. And not just the normal idiots at the EPA, not just the NEA. Democrats have very purposely filled the Federal Bureau of Investigation with their allies who work for them and think you're the enemy. Our spy agencies, CIA, NSA, you're the enemy. What do your text messages look like on the front of tomorrow's newspaper? These people are coming for you. Where is your protection? It doesn't exist. That's the scary part. That's why we live in such dangerous times when it's the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Who's coming to save you? Nobody. When it's CIA, NSA, who do you turn to? Nobody. Once you have politicized corruption ingrained, taking root at the federal level, there is no escape from it. I don't care whether you like me, like Tucker Carlson, hate all of us, none of that matters at all. You need to understand, no matter your political persuasion, even if you're a Democrat, you need to understand you don't want the federal government having that kind of power. Mao killed 70 million of his own people, Stalin 50 million, Pol Pot 25% of the population. How did they kill them? We always put out these words, right? They killed them. Well, he killed them. He killed millions. He killed millions. How'd they kill them? Federal law enforcement arm went and knocked on that door in the middle of the night, and you don't get to wake up the next day. That's as real as it gets. And if you think you are somehow immune from that because you're a citizen of the United States of America, and it says land of the free right there in some documents I read one time, if you think any of that's going to save you from people who hate your guts and think you're a Nazi white supremacist holding them back from their communist utopia, then you've never read a history book in your entire life. How often do I come on here and tell you things like this? Not very, right? I don't do all that the world's coming to an end stuff. If the Federal Bureau of Investigation, CIA, and NSA decide they're just going to overtly start going after all the enemies of the Democratic Party, that is the end of the world. It's certainly the end of your world. And why is this happening? How in the world would anyone at the NSA, anybody, low level, high level, how would anybody feel like they had a right to go after a cable news host's text messages and emails, trying to get his show off the air? How would they have that right? Well, how do we handle the Carter Page stuff? Do I need to remind you? Kevin Kleinsmith, FBI lawyer, do I need to remind you that he changed evidence? He falsified information, specifically so the Federal Bureau of Investigation could take an application down to the FISA court and get a warrant to spy on an American citizen. Not just an American citizen who was working for Donald Trump, who was the opponent of the sitting political power, Barack Obama, at the time. Okay, well, that was step one. Actually, that was about step 1,000 when it comes to FBI malfeasance. But let's fast forward past that. It's easy to crush Obama and crush this scumbag Kleinsmith. Oh, it should be noted, Kleinsmith got probation, suspended from the bar for a year. Who did that, though? And we can blame Obama. We can blame the FBI. Who did that, though? Do I need to remind you that Donald Trump had two AGs in his time, Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr. Both of them were good guys, right? They're good guys. He's a good man. If I had to hear that one more time, especially about Jeff Sessions, I would vomit in this trash can sitting right beside me. He's a good man. He's a good man. Oh, he's a good guy. Both of them treated the FBI falsifying information so they could spy on an American citizen. Both of them treated it like a 6-year-old who wanders into a gas station and stuffs a Butterfinger in his pocket. Oh, that crazy FBI. Now, those guys, it's not a big deal. Let's not make this a partisan thing here. Let's not make a lot of it. Okay, one guy at the FBI violated someone's rights. No big deal. I'll tell you what they did. What they did was they sent a gigantic flare in the air to the FBI, CIA, NSA. Only that flare had writing on it. And what did that writing say? It told every single scumbag that works in those organizations, go ahead, go after Republicans. It's open season on Republicans, even if you get caught. I mean, black and white, caught red-handed like Kleinsmith was. No defense of it, right? Even if you get caught, we're not going to be partisan about it. It's no big deal. Now, one final question before we wrap this whole thing up here, because I know you're uncomfortable by now. How do you think the FBI would handle you if you falsified information of any kind. How do you think the NSA thinks about you after those last 10, 20, 30 text messages you sent? Do they think you're a white supremacist? Do they think you're potentially a domestic terrorist? Somebody they should maybe look into a little bit more. When I tell you this is the most dangerous situation in the United States, I mean that all the way. This is for the Republican Party. If you have a Republican congressman or senator and they don't take this deadly serious and promise you they're going to do something about it, not more hearings, not more committee meetings, I'm going to get to the bottom of this, not fundraising emails, Jesse, please send me $50 and I'll go after the FBI. No more words. I want to know who's going to federal prison or I'm voting you out of office. That's how you have to conduct yourself from now on. Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.